into this microphone. Good morning. As Ed mentioned, my name is Lindsay, and I am the current YBA, or Young Buddhist Association president. I've been attending Ekoji first solo and then with my wife for the past few years. Please note that the following talk is based on my opinions and limited knowledge of Buddhism and Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. I will be talking about myself for a little bit and getting a little bit personal, but I promise I will bring it back around to Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. I was always a pretty quiet child, and often I sat out of conversations, preferring to be a wallflower growing up. Throughout the years, the same beliefs played in my head on repeat, a record that just wouldn't stop, and this got old quick. Again and again, I came to the same perceived truth about myself, that I'm not enough or that I don't fit in. I couldn't wrap my head around why girls my age would incessantly talk about boys in our class or how hot Orlando Bloom was. For a period of time, they were obsessed with Lord of the Rings, and the blonde one especially. I was going to look up his name, but that's okay. I tried to understand that too, and I found myself falling asleep every time I tried to watch Lord of the Rings to try to catch up. Later, around the same year, my tomboy self sat in a corner at a makeover party at Libby Lou, if anyone remembers that. It was quite the place. I was wound up like a rubber band and on the verge of tears, disgusted by the idea of glittery lip gloss and having my hair done. Insides churning at the idea of again disappointing my friends and cheeks burning from embarrassment. But I couldn't will myself to join in. It felt wrong and not me. Eventually, my friend group dropped me, and I think it was because I just couldn't get it. When asked who my crush was in the quiet secrecy of a sleepover, my mind would go blank, grasping for anything and coming up with nothing. Then I feel like I'd have to lie, but lying just wasn't Catholic, and then I'd have to go to confession, which was my least favorite thing in the whole world. I always felt like everyone else just clicked into place, and I watched through a foggy and distorted glass, unable to connect and feeling that soul deep pain of feeling different. In high school, I managed to get a boyfriend, and again, I wondered if I was feeling the way I was supposed to. I remember kissing him and feeling bored. Sorry, Kevin. And, and later wondering if there was something wrong with me. Again, that old record played. Fast forward, and after a brief stint of wanting to be a saint, and then daydreaming about becoming a nun, classic Catholic school dreams, I graduated and became an adult. Again, the same messages played in my mind during my next relationship. I felt broken, isolated, and different from my peers. Again, I wondered what was wrong with me and how I fell short. Flash forward to college, where I finally saw shows representing stories that felt like me, and a friend spoke to me about her sexuality. It was like something finally clicked. Suddenly, everything made sense and the world opened itself up to me. Over time, I found it within me to embrace and accept myself for who I am, not what I was expected to be, at least on my good days. When I detached myself from those expectations and the weight of hiding, what waited on the other side was beautiful. An energy followed, and with that, a life I never dreamed on having. You see, I believe that in many ways, Jodo Shinshu is the perfect place for someone like me. Here in this beautiful temple, I am enough as I am and accepted fully and unconditionally. And even on my worst days, when I can't find that for myself, the Dharma and this Sangha embraces me. From restriction, confusion, and insecurity to warmth and freedom. In Jeff Wilson's Living Nembutsu, I promised I'd bring it back around. He even writes about his perspective that Shinran himself was queer. And not in a sexuality sense, but in the sense of daring to exist and persist outside of the default societal structures. After being exiled, he declared himself neither monk nor layman, and then got married, had children, and continued to shave his head, chant sutras, and preach the Dharma. All things reserved for monastics at the time, and therefore shaking up the default social norms. When you bring to mind the concept of non-self, this attitude of acceptance makes even more sense. Shinran himself in the Tanisho writes, all beings have been fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, in the timeless process of birth and death. When I attain Buddhahood in the next birth, each and everyone will be saved. Now, in 2026, we can also assume that this may even go beyond these possibilities, and we've all been male, female, non-binary, transgender, gay, and every other version of a human being. Therefore, we are all interconnected, and within this vast web of interconnection, there is no room for discrimination, only inclusion and acceptance. We are connected in our humanness and desire to be free from suffering, to be accepted and loved, and within Jodo Shinshu, that is what we are meant to receive, even on days we can't give that to ourselves. The primal vow liberates us all and offers us what is sometimes hard to access ourselves, compassion. As Shinran Shonin wrote in Hymns of the Pure Land, the liberating wheel of light is without bound. Each person it touches, it is taught, is freed from attachments to being and non-being. So take refuge in Amida Buddha, the enlightenment of non-discrimination. So when you wonder why we are marching in pride, that is exactly it. To share the wheel of light with others who may be living, carrying the burden of not fitting in, not feeling enough, or longing for acceptance. That is why we are marching, to offer them a place similar to the one I found here. Thank you. Namamita Roots.